Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. News from a psychic's perspective. I'm out here in a beautiful spot where I've been before, just a different angle. And you'd never know there's a hurricane offshore. One thing you can see offshore is a big boat there in the background. I have a much closer view of that. It's so beautiful. Anyway, September is a stellar month. We love September. It's usually not too hot, and although this early September has been very, very hot. And as I said, there is a hurricane offshore, and I'm using my psychic powers to push it further out. Anyway, I guess they're going on a little sail for the end of the day, and I'd say it's about 70 something 70 something degrees Fahrenheit. I know I have viewers from other countries. Anyway, so let's take a look at what's going on. The Republicans are doing the full reveal. That's the way I look at it. It's the full reveal. The Republicans are in a place of, we're gonna just make stuff up. So that's what they're doing. We're gonna, all this talk about guns and everyone should have a gun, and no matter what, permitless, anybody should be able to just walk in off the street and not show anything really of any substance and just get a gun. And now they're going after Hunter Biden for purchasing a gun, which apparently he'd never used. He was under the influence, and he probably intentionally under the influence didn't share that he was under the influence of some drug when he was purchasing the gun. So they're looking to get him for that. They're doing it to rattle Joe Biden, to rattle his father, because Joe Biden's a real dad and he cares. In fact, he didn't run in 2016 for president. Joe Biden didn't, because he needed to be with his family, grieving the tragic loss of his son, Beau. So, I don't know, to me it's crystal clear what's going on here, and what they're banking on, what the fascists are banking on, is that people will be deluded and delusional like they did to Hillary, that they'll be deluded and swayed so much by the blowing out of proportion or making something up, some legal issue up, that they can just keep pounding away. Remember, repetition is a fascist, in the fascist playbook. Just keep pounding away, just keep pounding away, just keep doing it. I want us all to send really strong energy and lots of light to the Democrats that are standing up for democracy, that are putting these fascists in their place, and just basically saying, we see what you're doing. We see that, you're going after Hunter Biden for paying his taxes late. When you pay your taxes late, there's a penalty. Maybe he didn't file for a couple of years, and they're wanting to prosecute him, put him through a trial and hearings. In the meantime, Hunter Biden, pled guilty to the crimes he committed, which are relatively menial crimes, that you probably know somebody who's done the same thing. I'm always doing my taxes late, so he was probably under the influence, didn't get to things as he should have, in a timely manner, and that's what happened. I'm going to pull 3 cards about how Joe Biden is doing in the face of this. I gotta tell you, it is so peaceful out here. It's my favorite month because that's when, you know, the tourists are lovely, but I like when they leave. I'm gonna just set myself up in a little blanket here. So it is Thursday, and Grassroots of Democracy meets tonight. I didn't say the date. It's Thursday, September 14th, 2023. So I'm gonna pull some cards, and I'm asking about, and I keep looking over there because it's such a beautiful view of that schooner. That's really something. I need to get a telephoto. You can get a telephoto lens. I found one for your cell phone. Might be time to invest in that. So I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I'm asking about how Joe Biden is feeling in the face of this, you know, continuing to prosecute his poor son who's just trying to live his life. Imagine if one of your family members was harassed to make a mockery of, in an attempt to make a mockery of. Imagine in front of the whole world, one of your beloved family members was being put through this by some really evil, dishonest shysters that wanted to take down our country. They want fascism. They do. I know it's hard to believe, but I don't know. Maybe they're under the influence themselves, these fascist Republicans. Oh, one card fell off, so we'll take that one. This is how, I'm reading on how Joe Biden's feeling right now. Wounded. This is personal. This is dirty. This is dark and evil, and it's deeply personal. So this is how Joe Biden's doing today in the face of what the fascists are doing. And I really feel like behind the scenes, Joe Biden knows this is coming from enemy countries, what's going on. He's just gonna see if he can be patient through it. He's praying for guidance. He's praying for protection. I also heard that there are more death threats coming to prosecutors, the FBI and the DOJ, and the Five of Swords is a deeply, deeply hurtful time. They're as hard as Joe Biden has been working to do the right thing. And he doesn't do it for accolades. He does it because it's the right thing to do. Joe Biden ran for president because he saw the rise of white supremacy and a so-called president that advocated for that in so many ways. He saw a president that was siding with domestic terrorists, violent groups, and he said, I have the experience and I have the moral foundation and the moral compass, because I can do that job. Joe Biden decided he was going to go run for the presidency to see if he could make a difference in changing the trajectory of American democracy to be stronger, to be not fading away and replaced with autocracy. But Joe Biden stepped into the presidential race because he has the archetype of the public servant. And I actually, my newsletter that I sent to Grassroots of Democracy today, I typed that I actually gave MSNBC another shot this morning. I went ahead and I turned it on, and I saw that they were literally praising Joe Biden and all his accomplishments, which was something I'd never seen them do. And I had asked our group at Grassroots of Democracy, please visualize that this week. On our Tuesday night meeting, I said, please visualize the media doing better on this front and stopping with the ageism. And, you know, instead of talking about his accomplishments, oh, he's too old, when Donald Trump is 3 years younger. And lo and behold, they actually talked about Joe Biden's accomplishments. And so I sent them another email and I said, please continue that. But this is deeply, deeply hurtful to Joe Biden. I mean, can you imagine from the heart doing whatever you can do to help your country and to be met with this kind of resistance. I mean, it's not like he doesn't understand what they're doing. It's not like he doesn't understand that they're being hateful for the purpose of being taking all the money and being greedy and being just evil, and that exists in the world. It's not really personal against Joe Biden. It's about wanting to take over this country and make it a fascist regime. So it's not really like they hate Joe Biden as a person, which is a struggle that Kevin McCarthy is having, by the way. Because, Lindsey Graham actually doesn't hate Joe Biden as a person. They're posing, and Joe Biden knows that. Some of them, of course, hate him because they just hate people that are having a happy, fulfilled life. But it's deeply hurtful. Deeply hurtful. So let's see what the outcome is going to be. Because I think Hunter's probably really struggling. I mean, he's just done everything he could to try to put this past him, Originally it would have been probation and, do better, don't do that again, keep your nose clean, stay sober. That's how most of these things end. But no. Actually, I'm going to read on... All right, I'm going to read on how these hearings are going to go. I'm going to read on what this is going to do to the Republican Party. Going forth with these hearings in the face of all the problems that we have that need to be dealt with and addressed. And they're wasting our hard-earned taxpayer dollars on these mock hearings, these clown shows. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about how it's going to work out for the Republicans. The Empress is the United States. The Two of Wands, they'll be looking back at a desolate landscape. Doesn't look good. They're going to have to, the Republicans are going to have to surrender to they don't have any evidence. This is them looking at what they've done like, oh, I guess it's not really working out too well. It's the United States. The Republicans are they're putting it all out there. They're being ridiculous. They're putting it all out there and they're turning up with nothing. So they're wasting our money. They're attempting to lie. They're doing what they're doing because they believe that people are not going to be paying attention and people are not going to be understanding what's going on. And that's why. That's what this is about. So I feel like if we can just get more and more people to know what's happening, if we can when we get thousands upon thousands, millions of people to know the truth, definitely, get people to subscribe to Midas Touch, I think we're going to see a change. I think we're going to see a shift. So it doesn't look like it's going to be worth all the energy that the fascists are putting into this. It doesn't look like it's going to produce the returns that they hope that it's going to produce. Remember that Fox is also under pressure right now, being sued again. I'm going to pull a few cards about how that's going to work out. Fox. Let's see. I mean, I have read in the past and I saw Fox just crumpling financially, bit by bit, but eventually not, it's like kind of the feeling of if you've ever been, oh, my income is slowing down. Oh, I can get through 1 month. I can get through 2 months. If things don't pick up, I can get through maybe 3 more months. But then after a while, the income is not gonna be sufficient for the amount of debt and fees that Fox is gonna have to pay. Settlements. That feeling of it's just gone too far, right? Hopefully you've never been in a position like that. when you're self-employed, it can happen. And if you're not self-employed, it happens too. It can happen. You can just lose your job, right? And you can get by for a certain amount of time, but then after a certain amount of time, you know, the money runs out, and I feel like Fox's legal fees are just going to start burying them, and the settlement amounts. So yeah, the Four of Swords, it's exactly what I'm saying. Fox is having a hard time keeping up. Actually, that woman Jessica that they have, that is the counter to the lies, it was a really good thing that they put her on. I know that they put her on as a buffer so that they could go into court and say, well, we have her and she countered that lie. I don't know if they'd say lie. That's like admitting that they're lying. But at this point, they're starting to admit that they're lying. In certain arenas. Well, it looks like as Fox gets weaker, we get happier. We get happier, and it's an opportunity. Even though we're facing a lot, there's a lot of opportunities for us to start something brand new. Because with Putin aligning with Trump and saying we shouldn't be going after Trump, oh, poor Trumpy, oh, poor Trumpy. Putin's worried about poor Trumpy. Honestly, it becomes very clearer and clearer and clearer, because when people hear that Putin is for Trump succeeding, we know how that went before. We know how that went in 2016. We know all too well how painful that was. And I think more and more Americans are going to understand that we need to engage and do better, because there's no denying what's going on here. And that's a really strong awakening that I feel, is the choice becomes more and more and more intensely clear. Do we want to be Russia? Do we want democracies to fail? Do we want American democracy? I mean, people around the world, they think of America, they think democracy. We have an interesting democracy. That might be why. But when it all comes down to it, after some time, and I just see it like a few months, more and more Americans are going to be involved, be engaged, and they're going to start seeing what a difference it makes to be involved, to be engaged. I mean, I just have to say, as a side note, even on an energy level, we visualized this week, I asked people to visualize the mainstream news talking about Joe Biden's accomplishments, and I think it made a difference. Either that, it was extremely synchronistic, but you know, that's kind of a testament to the laws of metaphysics too. All right, it's not very comfortable on this rock. It'd be better out on that sailboat. What else? Jim Jordan. For some reason, Jim Jordan keeps popping to my mind, so I'm going to pull 3 cards about Jim Jordan's fate. I hope you're having a good Thursday. I understand why people like these videos outdoors. I really do. Because I'm just talking to you and the boats and the rocks, and it's very, very peaceful here today, which I've been out here before and it's been quite noisy. Jim Jordan, the Fool. The Fool, the Devil. The Fool and the Devil for Jim Jordan. So much evidence against him that's just going to flood him. It's going to overwhelm him emotionally. How's that going to happen? I get the word judges. Jim Jordan and judges. There's that alliteration again. Jim Jordan and judges. That's how that's going to happen. I get that Jim Jordan is going to cause something very unseemly. Very like, whoa, you've gone too far. It's kind of starting to happen with Fani Willis. Right now, I see more judges calling Jim Jordan out for his nefarious activities and his lies. but I actually feel like he gets a scare. But he's a fool and he walks right into it, Jim Jordan. Okay, more on that later. As far as the hurricane, I have been mentally pushing it out to sea. And I know that sounds silly, but it's like I mentioned to somebody yesterday, what were the Native American rain dances all about? So I feel like it's going to be okay. This is a really, really calm couple of days before the storm. And just because I'm mentioning it, I'm just going to pull a few cards about it. Because you wouldn't believe that it's going to be stormy when it's like this right now. That's just how storms are. I really think it's going to be more of a nor'easter with a lot of waves. And I did read on it last night. And since the hurricane keeps changing, let's see what the cards say. It will be strong. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. We'll pull together and we'll do what we need to do. We may lose power here, electricity on Saturday, but we're strong. We've been through this kind of thing before. It's not a full-on, it's not a direct hit by any stretch of the imagination. It's way offshore. So we'll just get like the edges of it. The Lover card is people will come together and we'll be okay. And that's because all of you are sending protection prayers to us. You've told me and I can feel it, so thank you. It won't really come around till Saturday. Okay. Kind of sorry I didn't come here earlier because it's so beautiful. I did go in the ocean though. It's the best time of year to go in the ocean. Still warm days. Okay. I'm going to look at Amendment 14 and how that's going. What progress is being made with Amendment 14 to keep Trump off the ballot. Well, this is what I get about that. Amendment 14, keeping Trump off the ballot. It's going to be better. This is the way I feel like it's going to unfold. It's going to be a little bit of a domino effect. So it won't be right away that we hear that Donald Trump is being kept off the ballot. It will be after he's just had so many hits. I don't mean hit songs. I mean knockdown problems with prosecutions, and I feel convictions too. I feel like that's going to lead to him not being on the ballot because of this. And I actually feel like it's because of how heinous his behavior is going to be in front of the judges, that kind of is the final nail in the coffin for him in terms of him being kept off the ballot. Whenever he opens his mouth, he perjures himself anyway. But this is more about, okay, yeah, definitely the way he's been behaving, we need to enforce. We need to put into place and enact Amendment 14, Section 3. So he's gonna do it to himself. The karma card is coming up. It's not as bad as it's gonna be in terms of the way he presents and the way he continues to crime. Remember I said that I feel like he's addicted to committing crimes. Absolutely addicted to committing crimes. It's really weird. It's a real sickness. He's a very, very, very sick man like Putin. Yes, he is. I'm going to pull 3 cards about how the Democrats are going to do. How are the Democrats going to do in the face of this craziness? Actually, I'm going to pull my pendulum out and I'm going to ask, I brought this one. I'm going to ask the pendulum if this hearing or this trial of Hunter Biden, if it's going to last very long. How long will this Hunter Biden ridiculousness by the fascists last? Will it last more than a week? Okay. Will it last a month? 2, 3 months? About 3 months. It looks like they'll go after him for 3 months. And then they'll have nothing. I mean, it's like, how humiliating that has to be. How embarrassing. How shameless they are. We don't have any evidence, but we're going to prosecute them. We want to say that they committed crimes because that's how they are. We want to say Joe Biden committed a crime, so we're just going to say he committed a crime. Okay, show us what he did. Oh, we can't find it. That's fascism. And the Ukrainians are Nazis, according to Putin. We got to be involved. We have got to. They're stealing our money. I remember doing a reading last year and pulling the Seven of Swords. I had a moment of, wow, these fascist Republicans have stolen so much from the American people. Not just them, but, corporate interests. It's all connected with the lobbyists and everything's all connected. The reason that they're hating on Joe Biden is because part of the reason is because he's trying to make America fair again. We should do MAFA, which kind of sounds like some swear. MAFA, make America fair again. Kind of like that. I kind of like that. Make America, then I had another one, make America intelligent again. Made. All right, one more and then I'm gonna go. Okay, let's see. Are we going to be safe? I kept picking up on an incident that would make Americans wake up and pay attention. So let's take a look at that. Are we going to be safe from, say, domestic terrorism? In terms of, violence and death and all that, are we going to be safe from that? Probably not. I do see some domestic terrorist attacks. We are worn out, but we actually become stronger. We actually become stronger because I see something scary happens and we become stronger in the face of it. We get, it's too bad that I remember before September 11th that we seemed like we were too allowing, and as a nation we were too trusting, and we were too kind of young and naive, was my sense. And then we had to have all these security measures put in place after September 11th. I do see a little bit of and we can pray that this doesn't happen, because it's the beauty of getting readings and doing readings is that, you can change the course of things if you don't like what you see. So I do see an imminent threat of an attack by a domestic terrorist group. But, it could be something like the electrical grid somewhere. But it'll be enough to startle us and to make us be more careful. Like after September 11th. It's not that was a huge event. It's not a huge event like that. But the threat alone will cause us to definitely put more security measures in place. And then I get the sense that after this craziness, scariness, I do feel like we're gonna settle into a better groove in America. So keep the faith, because there's much, much, much to be grateful for. And I want to just remind everybody, or maybe you've never heard this before, the frequency, the energy, the frequency on the planet it's so hard to describe this. It's increasing. There's a really high vibration. Like where I am right now, really, really high vibration. That's why I live here. I was fortunate to have grown up here, and my mom was born here. And there's a certain quality to the energy that I have an easy time picking up on, because I live in this beautiful natural place. And get to a beautiful natural place if you're not in one, just so you can kind of get still and get quiet and feel that vibrational frequency. The lower energies, the hatred and the violence and the terrorists and all that, cannot handle it. Notice they hate anything that's good. They hate people that feel good. They hate people that are happy and loving. They hate people that achieve and that are that just strive to be all that they can be. These fascists, they hate that, and that's a sign of weakness. Remember, the Republicans are doing what they're doing partly because they don't have the freaking IQs nor the desire to do the challenging work of making this country a better country and working for the American people, because frankly, they don't know how. And the smart people, the kind people, the compassionate and caring people are the ones that win. Don't ever forget that, and you're one of those. So, on that note, I'm going to get off my uncomfortable perch and I'll show you a little more view of the ocean. Just visualize it staying this calm or relatively calm. Hurricane Lee, stay out at sea. Go far, far, far out to sea, Hurricane Lee. All right, I'll catch you again real soon. Tomorrow night, Friday, is PNN live stream where we talk to each other. All right. Namaste. If you'd like to book a reading, please go to psychicannetdion.com. For some weird reason, I've got tons of time in my schedule. All right, be well. Bye.